Bereshith, chapter 30. And when Rahel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rahel envied her sister and said to Jacob, "Give me children, or else I'm going to die." And Jacob's displeasure burned against Rahel, and he said, Am I in the place of Elohim, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? And she said, See, my female servant Bilhah, go into her and let her bear for me, and let me be built up from her as well. So she gave him Bilhah, her female servant, as wife, and Jacob went into her. And Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rahel said, Elohim has rightly ruled my case, and has also heard my voice and given me a son. So she called his name Dan. And Rahel's female servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. And Rahel said, With great wrestlings I have wrestled with my sister, and I have overcome. So she called his name Naphtali. And Leah saw that she had ceased bearing, and she took Zilpah, her female servant, and gave her to Jacob as wife. And Leah's female servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, Fortune comes. So she called his name Gad. And Leah's female servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, I am happy, for the daughters shall call me happy. So she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat and harvest, and found love apples in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. And Rahel said to Leah, Please give me some of your son's love apples. But she said to her, It is a small matter that you have taken away my husband. Would you take away my son's love apples too? And Rahel said, Therefore let him lie with you tonight for your son's love apples. And when Jacob came out of the field in the evening, Leah went out to him to meet him and said, Do come in to me, for indeed I have hired you with my son's love apples. And he lay with her that night. And Elohim listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob's fifth son. And Leah said, Elohim has given me my hire, because I have given my female servant to my husband. So she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim has presented me with a good present. Now my husband is going to dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. So she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And Elohim remembered Rahel, and Elohim listened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bore a son, and said, Elohim has taken away my reproach. So she called his name Yosef, and said, Yehovah has added to me another son. And it came to be, when Rahel had borne Yosef, that Jacob said to Laban, Send me on my way to go to my own place and to my land. Give my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you yourself know my service which I have done for you. And Laban said to him, If I have found favor in your eyes, please stay, for I have diligently watched that Yehovah has blessed me for your sake. And he said, Name me your wages, and I'll give it. So he said to him, You know how I have served you, and how your livestock has been with me. For the little you had before I came has increased greatly, and Yehovah has blessed you since my coming. But now, when am I to provide for my own house too? And he said, What do I give you? And Jacob said, Give me naught. If you do this for me, I shall again feed and guard your flocks. Let me pass through all your flock today, removing from there all the speckled and spotted sheep, and all the black ones among the lambs, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and these shall be my wages. and my righteousness shall answer for me in time to come, when you come concerning my wages. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and black among the lambs, it is stolen if it is with me. And Laban said, See, let it be according to your word. And on that day he set aside the male goats that were speckled and spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled and spotted, every one that had some white in it, and all the black ones among the lambs, and gave them into the land of his sons. And he put 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took for himself rods of green poplar, and of the almond and the chestnut trees, peeled white strips in them, and exposed the white which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink, and they conceived when they came to drink. So the flocks conceived before the rods, and the flocks brought forth streaked, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob separated the lambs, and made the flocks face forward, the streaked and all the black in the flock of Laban. But he put his own flocks by themselves, and did not put them with Laban's flock. And it came to be, whenever the strong ones of the flock conceived, that Jacob placed the rods before the eyes of the flock in the gutters, so they would conceive among the rods. But when the flocks were weak, he did not put them in, so the weak ones were Laban's, and the strong ones were Jacob's. Thus the man increased very much, and had many flocks, and female and male servants, and camels, and donkeys.